Hey there, and welcome to this complete breakdown. If you're selling products online, tapping into a fulfillment network can just completely transform your business. It's a real game changer. But let's be honest with each other for a second, trying to understand the exact costs associated with those fulfillment centers. Sometimes it literally feels like you're trying to decipher some kind of ancient secret code. Well, today we are going to completely demystify Amazon fulfillment center fees. We're going to break down the official calculator and all the guidelines so you can actually protect your margins and know exactly where every single rupee of your money is going.
I want to start right off the bat by asking you a very direct question. Do you actually know your real Amazon FBA fee? Most sellers absolutely think they do. They'll glance at a rate card, do some quick mental math, and assume, yep, I'm profitable. But then the end of the month rolls around, and those profit margins look mysteriously, frustratingly thin. No way around it, hidden costs, complex rounding rules, and something called dimensional weight can completely change your final payout.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, main fees and types. Second, how to calculate billing weight. Third, your savings with SIOC. Fourth, heavy and bulky products. And finally, 5, a practical calculation of your profit. Okay, let's dive into this first section, main fees and types. When you really boil it all down, Amazon's fulfillment structure basically relies on 2 fundamental types of fees. The first major charge you're going to run into is the pick and pack fee, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's essentially the physical labor cost. Think about it. Every single time a customer places an order, an actual Amazon worker has to physically walk through a massive warehouse, pick your specific product off a shelf, and pack it into a box. For doing that service, Amazon is going to charge you a flat per unit fee. Right, so the second major charge is the weight handling fee. Once your product is picked and packed, it obviously has to travel to the customer's doorstep. This is your shipping fee, and it is entirely based on the final shipping weight of the package. But pay close attention here. I said shipping weight, not actual weight. As you're going to see in just a minute, how Amazon calculates that specific number is absolutely crucial for your bottom line. Let's look at a really concrete example so we can see how these 2 fees work together in the real world. Imagine you're selling standard toys. A customer goes online and orders a quantity of 2, and each toy weighs 180 grams. First, we figure out the pick and pack fee. On a standard size product, let's just say the fee is 17 rupees per unit. Since we have 2 units, 17 times 2 equals a pick and pack fee of 34 rupees. Simple enough, right? Next, the shipping weight. 2 toys at 180 grams each gives us 360 grams. Then Amazon tacks on the packaging weight. Let's call it 100 grams. That brings our total actual weight to 460 grams. Now, here is the absolutely vital key. Amazon rounds this up to the nearest 500-gram slab. So, your final shipping weight for the fee calculation isn't 460, it's exactly 500 grams. Finally, we look at the weight handling fee, which shifts based on distance. For a regional shipment, it's 39 rupees, but for national shipment, it jumps to 65 rupees. If you add the pick and pack fee to the weight handling fee and slap on an 18% GST, just look at that difference. A regional delivery costs you about 86 rupees, but that exact same order sent nationally costs you nearly 117 rupees. Distance drastically impacts your fees. Which brings us nicely to Section 2, how to calculate billing weight. We need to peel back the next layer of the onion here, because as I hinted at a second ago, the weight of your product isn't always what it says on your bathroom scale. The most crucial thing to remember is that Amazon will always look at 2 completely different numbers, the actual weight of your product and its volumetric weight. Volumetric weight is calculated using a very specific formula. You take the length, multiply it by the width, and then by the height of your package in centimeters, and divide that whole number by 5,000. Amazon takes your actual weight, compares it against your volumetric weight, and they will always bill you based on whichever number is higher. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where sellers often lose a massive chunk of their profit margin. Let's look at this example of a large but super lightweight product. Think of a big, fluffy pillow. The actual weight is just 500 grams. It's basically light as a feather. But the dimensions of the box are 40 by 30 by 20 centimeters. If we run that through our formula, 40 times 30 times 20 divided by 5,000, we end up with a volumetric weight of 4.8 kilograms. Because 4.8 kilos is way higher than 500 grams, Amazon just completely ignores the actual weight. Your tiny half-kilo product is going to be billed as if it weighs nearly 5 kilograms, eating directly into your margins. Okay, on to Section 3, your savings with SIOC. So, now that you understand how dimensional weight can sneak up and hurt you, let's talk about a tool you can use to actually protect your profit. SIOC. It's an acronym that stands for Ship in Own Container, and the concept is brilliantly simple. If your product is already packaged robustly enough by you, the manufacturer, it can just ship directly out in its own packaging. Amazon doesn't have to put your box inside another bigger Amazon-branded box with extra packing materials like bubble wrap or brown paper. So why does this matter so much? Well, because less packaging means less weight and a smaller dimensional footprint. Take a look at this example of a DSLR camera lens. Without SIOC, Amazon puts the lens box into their own bigger box, bringing the billing weight to 1,085 grams. The fee for that comes out to 78 rupees. But with SIOC, the lens ships right in its original box. The billing weight drops down to 985 grams. Because you avoided tipping over into that next 1,000-gram weight slab, your fee drops to a much better 54 rupees. By simply making a really smart packaging choice right up front, you are securing direct cash savings on every single unit you sell. Moving right along to Section 4, heavy and bulky products. We've spent a lot of time talking about standard sizes. But what if you're in the business of selling massive items? Well, the rules here are completely different, and trust me, the fees scale up very quickly. To fall into this heavy and bulky category, your product needs to hit specific criteria. If the actual weight is over 22.5 kilograms, boom, it automatically qualifies. On top of that, certain categories of items are just classified this way by default because of their sheer size and how hard they are to handle. We're talking washing machines, refrigerators, big televisions, furniture, and other notably large-size products. Now, what's really interesting about this massive number is 63.9 kilograms. You might be wondering, what kind of product weighs exactly 63.9 kilograms? Well, the truth is, the product itself doesn't weigh that at all. This is actually the calculated volumetric billing weight for a standard 45-kilogram washing machine. Let's break that math down real quick. A seller lists a washing machine. Its actual physical weight is 45 kilos. But remember our golden rule. Amazon always checks the volumetric weight. Because of the enormous size of a washing machine box, running the volumetric formula spits out 63.9 kilograms. Since 63.9 is higher than 45, that becomes the official billing weight. For a non-SIOC washing machine shipped regionally, you are looking at a pretty hefty fee of 530 rupees. This perfectly highlights why you absolutely must calculate dimensional weight before you price your large items, or your shipping costs will literally wipe out your entire revenue. And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, practical calculation of your profit. Okay, we've covered pick and pack, we tackled volumetric weight, and we looked at SIOC. Now let's synthesize everything we've learned into a real-world scenario. First, just a super quick refresher on delivery distances, because as we saw, distance dictates that weight handling fee. Local means the fulfillment center and the customer are sitting right there in the very same city. That's going to be your cheapest option. Regional means the delivery happens within the same broader region. And national means that product is crossing over into a completely different region altogether. National delivery will always incur the highest fees, and you really need to account for a mix of these distances when you're figuring out your average profit margins. Let's move to and see how this builds for a very common everyday item, an 800-gram mobile phone cover that's being shipped regionally by a standard seller. Step 1, we calculate our shipping weight. The cover itself is 800 grams. We tack on 100 grams for Amazon's packaging. That gets us to 900 grams, which safely fits right inside that 1,000-gram or 1 kilo billing slab. Step 2, we add the pick and pack fee. For an item this size, let's apply the standard 17 rupees. Step 3, we determine the weight handling fee. For a 1 kilo slab shipped regionally, the fee sits at 54 rupees. Step 4, we calculate the grand total. 17 rupees for pick and pack plus 54 rupees for shipping equals 71 rupees. When we add the mandatory GST on top of the whole shebang, the total Amazon Fulfillment Center fee comes out to approximately 84 rupees. See? By taking it step by step, what once looked like a really confusing fee structure becomes simple, predictable, and totally manageable math. And just remember, these are just the fulfillment charges. Your other standard Amazon seller fees are still going to apply. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely crucial question for you to think about. What is your product's true FBA fee? Because now that you truly understand the mechanics behind pick and pack, the hidden dangers of volumetric weight, and those sweet savings hidden in SIOC packaging, you have the absolute power to take control of your margins. If you know your product's actual weight, its exact box dimensions, and your selling price, you can run this exact calculation for yourself today. Don't let hidden math eat your hard-earned profits. Do the calculation, optimize your packaging, and start selling smarter. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.